So we're standing in Bilston Craft Gallery. We're only about 10 miles from where the Staffordshire Hoard was found. It was found near the village of Hammerwich in 2009 by a metal detectorist in a quite ordinary field. Stumbled across really the largest collection of anglo-saxon objects ever found. In fact, 3 times as large as the previous record. So it's right that we should celebrate this history that's part of really Staffordshire and the Black Country. And we're really pleased to have the opportunity to show the Mercian Trail touring exhibition, which is really an exhibition about the story of how the Staffordshire Hoard was found, and looks in detail at some of the objects that were found as part of the collection.
And what kind of things can people interact with in this exhibition?
Okay, so there are a number of interactive displays. You can do your own metal detectoring, you can find your own objects in a field, you can clean some of the objects in a digital reconstruction, you can dress up as an Anglo-Saxon person would have dressed. At the same time, reading the story, say, of how the objects were found and some of the context. You know, the Anglo-Saxon kingdom that created these fantastic objects. I mean, they're really fine pieces of metalwork. We think that they're probably the property of Anglo-Saxon aristocracy or kings. They're mostly military hardware, swords and shields, but they're of the finest quality.
How important is it to show something like this?
I think what's really exciting about this is that it's a local connection. It demonstrates that the land that we know as Walsall, Staffordshire, Wolverhampton, Bilston, these places were all walked by Anglo-Saxon people, and it's a real connection with the history of 1300 years ago. And when you look at these objects, it also asks you to question what was going on at that time. And we think of those times as the Dark Ages, and in some ways primitive. When you look at these objects, there's no way you can think of the people who created them as primitive. These are master craftspeople that have produced these objects. And if you imagine they're being produced without any of the modern tools that we have today, and they're exceptional.
What feelings do you hope people will walk away from after visiting this exhibition?
Personally, I think it's kind of humbling to see some of the objects that could be created at that time, and to think that all of this material, I mean, the incredible amount, as I mentioned, the largest hoard ever found anywhere of this kind. There were 5 kilograms of gold, so that's sort of 5 bags of sugar in weight of gold buried, in a field. And somebody obviously just, there's lots of theories about why it was there, but one theory is that it's the loot from various battles that took place in the area that somebody buried and never got a chance to come back to. But as I say, it reminds us that there's an awful lot of history underneath our feet if we care to think about it.